Hello, welcome back to another video. It's the time of year when a lot of the big events are opening entries and also announcing the routes. And on Friday night, I was at the launch of the Transcontinental Race for 2025, which will be edition 11. And I'd heard rumours beforehand there was going to be a few changes and substantial things which are going to be different, so I was intrigued. I went down there and I found out all about the race, and I've got a few interviews with Andrew and Hannah, who are part of the race organisation. I'm going to talk through the route, the checkpoints. At this point it's not super detailed with the parcours and stuff, so I imagine that'll be another video later on. Subscribe if you don't want to miss that. Here we are, the 2025 Transcontinental route. I'm not going to start with the actual route itself because there is some other exciting news around it. So instead, I'm going to start with Hannah, and I guess the big news is the TCR Lost Dot as an organisation's push towards better equality within racing, and for 2025 they are pushing to get 100 women on the start line. So I won't say anything more myself just yet. First we shall hear from Hannah about the 100 TCR women initiative, and let's see what she's got to say.
So diversity is really important to us at Lost Dot, and we've always really strived to have a race that represents the whole span of society that we live in, but we know that is something that we're really not achieving. So this year we had our largest women's field to date, which was 41 riders, but even then that was only a paltry 12.5% of our fields. But next year we're aiming to more than double that, so we're aiming to have 100 women on the start line of TCR number 11, and to support that we're going to be putting on a lot of women's community events in order to foster that sense of community and make women feel like they're part of something much bigger, and to inspire confidence among them. So as part of that we're going to be doing some women's only Q&As. We've got Fiona Kolbinger, Yannick Kiesenheimer, and Heike Otten, who are all going to be part of our first Q&A, which is happening on the 9th of December. And following that in the new year, we're going to be putting on a lot of webinars to help women prepare for TCR if they're going to be racing it. So hopefully by bringing that sense of community and giving people that support from other women, we hope that it can inspire a lot more people to be there next year.
So there we go. That is the initiative from the TCR. Let me just move my face out of the way so you can see the graph. So this is quite an interesting graph, just showing the women's participation in the events over the years. So the first one in 2023, there was only one woman who took part. But as you can see, it's grown. The race has grown. I suppose the percentage has probably stayed fairly small despite the growing numbers. Last year, there was the most women ever taking part at 41. I suspect the highest percentage was TCR number 7 with 40, because the field wouldn't have been as big then. There's a big push in 2025 to over double the amount of women taking part. And as Hannah said, there's lots of initiatives around that. So keep an eye out for the hashtag. On social media and Instagram. I know there's some stuff out there already, and there's going to be loads of events and stuff to basically encourage women to take part, answer any questions, and things like that. And I think it's also worth mentioning, I didn't get it on camera, but Hannah was saying it's for anyone who identifies as female, and then as Andrew said in the presentation, basically anyone who's not a middle-aged white dude, which does include me. So that's 100 TCR women, which is good to see, and hopefully they get 100 women on the start line. But I won't tell you where that is just yet. First up, let's hear from Hannah again, because as well as the women, the 100 women TCR women initiative, there's also another little change. There's going to be a new classification within the race, much like Tour de France has like the mountains and the points classification, and for 2025 there will be a points classification or a points prize for the TCR. So let's just hear from Hannah again and see exactly what that entails.
So one of the other initiatives we're introducing for next year's TCR to shake things up a bit about the race, is that we're introducing a points jersey. So this is going to be based on people's times on each of the parkour, and using the Follow My Challenge tracking, we're going to be able to calculate people's times over those pieces of set route that they ride, and the fastest rider across all of those parkour, excluding the start parkour, will be crowned the points jersey champion.
So yeah, there's another little initiative. So basically, fastest riders over the set parkour sectors. As I said, we don't have the exact details at the moment, but we'll have a fair idea, and I'll do some wild speculation in a second. So there'll be a race within a race. I mean, in previous years, it's one for the mountain bikers and gravel riders, because they've been fairly off-road, which I would have loved. But it sounds like it's not. Well, there's going to be some off-road this year or next year for sure, but not as much as previous. But it's another little thing to aim for. I mean, maybe some riders might want to just take their time, take the whole sort of allowance for the race before the finish party, but just go really hard on the sectors and see what they can do. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that works out. So on to the actual race itself. Now I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to let Andrew from the race organisation. Basically, he's given me a quick run through on the checkpoints and some info on parkours, and I gathered a little bit of extra info which might not be out there just yet through general gossiping. So yeah, over to Andrew. Apologies for the sound, it's a bit loud. I did take a fancy camera with a big microphone, but then I couldn't work it, so I just used my phone. So here we go. This is Andrew with details about the start and the first checkpoint of TCR number 11.
The Transcontinental Race is going to start in Santiago de Compostela for 2025, TCR number 11. It's an amazing place for the race to start. It's a place where pilgrims have ended their journeys for 1,000 years. Since the 11th century, it's been a pilgrimage location. The start parkour is going to take them out towards the North Atlantic. Battered bare rocks sticking out into the Atlantic Ocean before they turn eastwards to cross the continent. So from there they're going to go to CP number 1, which is in Picos de Europa, the mountain range in Galicia, Asturias.
So there we go. A bit of a change up on the Transcontinental Race. Obviously, traditionally, the first 10 years it started in northwest Europe, apart from one edition where it kind of finished northwest and started southeast. So yeah, starting in Spain, and it kind of opens up a new kind of area with northern Spain and the Pyrenees. And then kind of back to the traditional route further on. So traditionally, it's been quite flat in the early days. It's been a big flat slog across to the Alps. And then you get into the climbing, but yeah, it's going to be nice and hilly from the off, I would suggest, with the Picos de Europa in there as well as a checkpoint. So let's have a little look at Google Maps. It's the classic planning app. So Santiago de Compostela, for those who don't know, is it's basically the kind of that little corner of Spain, the northwest corner of Spain, very famous for pilgrims. So the Camino de Santiago is there's many different routes from all across Europe, and they're signposted with little kind of shells, signs of shells, all the way across Europe, and they finish at the big cathedral, which you can see here on the old Google page. Actually, I think it's a good start point. A while back, actually, I actually had a race plan, a race route finishing there. It was called El Camino, finishing there, based on the El Camino de Santiago name. That never worked out. There were some different races which came out of the routes of that, and it was actually discussed in an odd conversation once about a TCR start. And I've always sort of thought that would be an interesting place to start a TCR, and it's finally happened, which is great. So, yeah, the start in Santiago de Compostela. It's not very flat around there, I can assure you. Let's just put some terrain layers on. So yeah, you can see pretty lumpy. I went through here touring in 2017, and the first checkpoint actually is the Picos de Europa, which you can see is a national park here. And I wasn't expecting the climbs to be quite as long and hard as they are. So yeah, these are proper like alpine climbs. So there was rumours of some gravel in this area. I think there might be. Basically, this is the Picos de Europa. It's like a dead end kind of climb road. You basically climb up into this sort of hidden valley, and I imagine there'll be some kind of checkpoint up here with all these amazing rocks surrounding you and cliffs. I suspect, I heard rumours there might be some off-road. I think there might be a way of sneaking through off-road at the back here, potentially. So I'd expect there'd be some kind of gravel. I think I've been up this big climb here. So yeah, it's they're long climbs, but the riders will be fresh by this point. And I think it's just going to kind of like make the legs sting a little bit earlier on than it would necessarily starting in kind of Belgium or France or somewhere like that. So yeah, that is the Picos de Europa. So basically north of Lyon or northwest of Lyon in Spain. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting start. It's going to be a hilly start for sure. And hopefully it spreads the field out a little bit and opens up the Pyrenees for a checkpoint. So I guess without further ado, we should probably head back over to Andrew and hear what he's got to say about CP2, find the location, and then we can take a look at the map and do some more speculation.
So in the Pyrenees, we're going to be crossing at the Col de Portelet. And then the control point is going to be over the Col de Tourmalet. So, amazing, famous Pyrenean climb. It's been in the Tour de France more than any other climb, and over 2,000 meters on top of the Col de Tourmalet, famous for its curious llamas.
So there we go. You heard it here first. There's curious llamas on the top of the Col de Tourmalet. I've never actually been up the Col de Tourmalet, bizarrely. Where's my screen gone? Let me find it. I've never been up the Col de Tourmalet myself, so I can't comment too much on that. Although I've been on a lot of climbs around that area. So let's have a little look at the map and see where we're looking. So if I can just get my screen up. This is the Col de Portelet. So this is where the riders will be crossing into France from Spain. So Picos de Europa is here. There's some big old climbs out of there. Like I said, it's I guess you're going to be doing a big kind of hour plus climb after that checkpoint for sure. Probably want to be aiming over to Aguila de Campo, this kind of area, and then taking the flatter roads, probably Pamplona way. That's where I went when I was touring back in 2017, and as I said, at this point there's not the parcours haven't been announced, but I suspect, I know because they just said the Col de Portelet is going to be is probably going to be the start of the parcours. Generally, these roads across here are quite busy. There's not many passes across the Pyrenees, so you've got to be a bit careful. Col de Portelet. Let's get the Google Man out and see. Let's have a little look, see what it's like. Again, I've not actually ridden this one myself. I've always ridden a little bit further over, but it's going to be pretty amazing up there. So yeah, a nice solid long climb. Hopefully there's not too much snow, if any snow, at the end of July. So I imagine the parcours will be probably starting on top of the Portelet on the French border, dropping down, and then this is the Col de Soleure here. So you'll have to climb up over the Soleure. Again, speculation, but I assume this will be the parcours. And then onto the Col de Tourmalet. I don't know where the checkpoint will be. Potentially, La Monge is just before the summit. It's a like a ski town. So I imagine the checkpoint will be in one of these sort of towns around here. There'll be a hotel or something that the race uses. So you can see La Monge. I mean, it's not very pretty exactly as in terms of towns. But yeah, really famous climb. And it will be, it's good to have it in the TCR, I think. And then you'll probably drop back down and then head out of the Pyrenees. So yeah, that's the Tourmalet. So let's hear what let's hear what Andrew has to say. Oh, let's just show you the proper map first. So yeah, just to give you an idea of where we're going, Compostela, Europa, Tourmalet. Let's hear from Andrew and see where the third checkpoint will be.
So the Asieta is a real callback to TCR number 3, ridden by one Josh Ibbett, and even won by Mr. Josh Ibbett. It's on the Strada dell'Asieta that he closed the gap on James Hayden. Around 60 kilometres off-road, over 2,000 metres. It's a real high alpine road, taking you from France to Italy and ending in the town of Susa.
So there we go. The Strada dell'Asieta is going to be the third sector, and CP3 on the Transcontinental Race. So it featured, as Andrew said, in the 2015 Transcontinental Race. It was actually the first ever off-road sector in the TCR, and that was the edition I managed to win on, which was kind of cool. So yeah, it's fairly long. It's over 2,000 meters for the most part. Let's just head across to the map again and have a little look, see where it is. So Colle d'Asieta will be starting in Sestriere, if I can find it on the map. Where am I? Sestriere, just here. So in Italy. So I'd imagine. I literally rode through this area in summer doing the Torino-Nice rally. So if you want to see loads of footage of that area, I've got a video up here on my YouTube channel. This one here, that will show you basically loads of footage of the Asieta and most likely the roads leading into it, into Sestriere. So I imagine most likely that most riders will probably end up going through Montgenèvre one way or another, and then up Sestriere. And the checkpoint, it's not finalised yet, the actual physical checkpoint, but probably in the town of Susa. So that means starting in Sestriere. If we zoom in, a lot of people ask me how I plan gravel routes and stuff, and basically I just zoom in really far on Google, and you can see this is the road here, and it basically follows this ridge all the way along. There's a Colle d'Asieta. It goes up and down. There's probably three little passes, high altitude passes that you kind of go through, and then you go down the Colle di Finestra, where's Susa. So you'll end up going down here somewhere. So yeah, keep an eye out for the exact parkour when that's released. But in terms of the actual road itself, like I said, it is off-road, and I rode it not that long ago, so this is what you'll be expecting. In this instant, I was running 2-inch mountain bike tyres. As I said, I've done it in the TCR. I was on 28mm road tyres then. It's not super comfortable on 28mm tyres, but it's really not that bad. Just the descent can be a bit rough after a while. I'd recommend putting like a shock stem or something like that, or just wider tyres. I don't think you want to be doing TCR on less than about 30mm tyres, 32, maybe 35, if not bigger. So yeah, this is what to expect. Obviously it was a really nice day when I did it. It's been like this both times. Back in 2015 it was like this. This summer it was like this, and it was really quite hot as well. But I don't know what it would be like. Maybe pretty grim. It was stormy up there. It wouldn't be too slippery in terms of not all muddy. Just a bit wet and cold and exposed. So yeah, that is the Strada dell'Asieta. So yeah, it's going to be nice to have that back in, a bit of a nod back to history. And then you can see roughly where we are on the map. So you'll be heading towards Italy in the Po Valley. Let's just put the terrain on. There we go. So yeah, you can see the Alps here, and then Turin, and then you've got this nice flat area out of Turin. So I suppose we should see where the next checkpoint is. Head back over to Andrew and see what he has to say about CP number 4. There's quite a lot of CPs on this TCR, and I think it's going to be a very long one. So if you're still watching, then good on you.
CP4 is a double parkour known as Siena per Centro. So the first part of the parkour starts in the Piazza del Campo in Siena, where the famous Paleo horse race starts. Takes you through the amazing winding medieval streets of Siena, down out of the town and into the chalky Strada Bianchi roads of Tuscany, up and down some amazing rolling Tuscan hills, and then down the spine of Italy to Picentro, which is the second part of the double parkour. Picentro sits in the Apennines, above Sulmona, and the pass there takes you up these amazing tarmac hairpin roads, up to the Passo della Forchetta, and then onwards through Italy and towards the ferry across the Adriatic.
So there we go. It's the Transcontinental Race is heading into Italy. So the checkpoint is going to be, well, as Andrew said, it's a split checkpoint. Siena and Picentro. Let me just get rid of some tabs, and we can have a little look on the map. So yeah, again, another area I've ridden in Italy Divide, and what's the other one I've done? Tuscany Trail. Siena, well, La Forchetta is the big pass across the Apennines. Let's just put the terrain on again, just to give you an idea. So you can see the mountain range down the spine of Italy, down the centre here. So at some point you're going to cross it. So you're going to be going from Turin, winding your way through the hills here. Not exactly sure where. I've not dug into the route that much in that area. And then onwards south towards Siena, where the parkour will start. I imagine it's two sections, and then you have to sort of join the dots in the middle. So yeah, this is the La Forchetta, which is the pass that Andrew mentioned. Looks pretty wiggly on a map. Let's have a little look with the little Google man. And very pleasant. So yeah, if it looks like that when you're there, it'd be quite nice. Where are we? La Forchetta. So again, nice and wooded and hilly. I mean, the roads aren't always great in this area, but to be honest, if you've just done the Strada d'Asieta, I doubt it'll be a problem by this point. And then that section starts in Siena, which I've lost on the map actually. Where is it? I'll just Google it. That's the key to route planning is Google. There we go, Siena. So starting in the centre there, in the square, in the plaza, which is where the Strada Bianca Pro Road Race starts and finishes, finishes. So you can see in the middle here. We've got a car show on the day the Google camera was there. So this is where the parkour will start. Great for pizza. I would highly. I mean, these days in Italy, getting food is going to be amazing. You're going to get so many carbs, pizza, pasta. It's a good chance to sort of fuel up. And then I imagine there'll be lots of dirt roads. They're basically very easy on a road bike. You don't really need to worry about them. If you've done the Strada d'Asieta, the Strada Bianca is not going to be a problem whatsoever, and you'll thread through to the pass. And then the ferry. So there's a ferry in TCR, a proper ferry as well. So I'd imagine. Well, let's hear from Andrew about the next parkour first, and then we can sort of do some more speculation. So the next checkpoint, CP5.
Control point 5 in Borel, in Albania. So this is somewhere we went on TCR number 9. It's an amazing little corner of Albania. The parkour, which we haven't released yet, is going to take people up the Chafstan Pass, and then the control point will be in Borel in Albania, which is right at the start of the famous off-road section in TCR number 9. Some people will describe it as the stupidest place they've ever ridden a road bike.
Or the Icarus race.
So yeah, heading back to Albania. This is obviously I guess it's kind of the traditional stomping ground of the TCR now, the Balkans. So Borel, CP5, and that means there will be a ferry involved. So let's get back over to the map, have a little look. What I've done is I've just found the obviously Andrew mentioned the checkpoint in one of the previous editions. I think it was a couple of years back. Actually, no. This is one. This is the one I rode. This is the parkour from a couple of years back, and you can see the purple line here is the. That's essentially where I went on the accursed race. So again, if you go on my YouTube, there's videos, and you can see kind of what the area is like and what it's like to ride around there. So I suspect this was the off-road section to Pescopi, which was the CP in the accursed, and it was a CP on that TCR. I think it was 2-3 years ago. There's a different pass to use. I suspect it might be something over here. Let me go back to this one. This is where I went in the 2015 TCR. There wasn't a checkpoint in Burrell, but I passed through. So I suspect there might be like a pass. The parkour might go through this way. Again, speculation. And then riders will probably be wanting to sort of head towards Skopje in Macedonia. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. The ferries are going to really kind of mix things up. They're decent ferries. I've done a bit of, again, Googling. Directferries.com just seem to have the timetables. I'm not sure if these are the exact timetables. It's just a random search, but it looks like there's probably a couple of ferries a day, evening ferries, and probably a lunchtime or maybe a morning ferry, depending on the time of day. But it's a 9-hour ferry. You can get cabins. Again, I went Ancona to Durrës on the way to the accursed race. Again, there's a video on traveling to that race, so check that out if you want to kind of see what the ferries are like. But you can get cabins, so it is a chance to have quite a big rest before a final push. So it's going to make an interesting dynamic, and also, tactics could come into it, and it could affect the race. I mean, you could lose a lot of time if you miss a ferry. It's almost 12 hours in between ferries, so definitely something to think about. I'd imagine that Bari is going to be the place. You can go from Ancona, but you're going to be fired out from the parkour sort of further past Ancona. So I think most people head to Bari. It's the most regular ferry. Bari Durrës, and then Burrell is in here somewhere. My geography of Albania is all a bit muddled up after the accursed race, because everywhere I thought I knew on the roads, I then went to off-road on the accursed race, and now I've kind of totally lost track of it. So back through the Balkans, Albania, most likely through Macedonia. So I suppose we should find out where the race is finishing. So let's head over to Andrew for one final time, and let's hear about the finish of the Transcontinental Race.
The finish of TCR number 11 is in Constanta in Romania, known in ancient Rome as Tomis, on the very eastern edge of the Roman Empire. One of the things that makes Transcontinental really special is feeling like you finish on the very edge of Europe. So when you reach Constanta, you've reached the shores of the Black Sea, and you cross the Black Sea and you've reached Asia.
So there we go, finishing in Consta in Romania, which I've rather handily Googled. If you've been sharp, you probably realised that my tabs were open from the very start of the video and already know. Or you've actually just looked at the TCR's Instagram and found out. So Consta in Romania. Again, I don't know much. I've never been to Romania. I don't know much about that area. I've always ridden across Bulgaria. The 2 TCRs I actually managed to finished in Istanbul. So I was going sort of Sofia, Plovdiv, and then the Erdini Idirini border crossing here in Turkey. I suspect riders will be going will most likely go through North Macedonia, across Bulgaria, and then up the coast. There are quite a lot of banned roads around that area on the from the race organisation, so that's going to be something to consider. Again, we can go through all of that at a later date when the actual parcours have been released. But yeah, Consta on the Black Sea. I always feel the TCR should be finishing on the coast. There was a few that finished in Greece in Meteora, which wasn't on it's about 100k from the coast, and always felt like those riders were maybe a little bit shortchanged because they didn't actually cross a continent. But back to finishing the Black Sea. So I think that's a good finish. It'd be interesting. It's going to be a bit of a flat slog at the end there, I think, and obviously very hot. So we'll see who's got the legs left at the end of it, and it's going to be a very, very long TCR. This could be the longest TCR that there's ever been. It's going to be interesting. And so there we go. That's the map. So that is your 20 2025 TCR number 11. So Santiago de Compostela in Spain. Picos de Europa, also in Spain. Col de Tourmalet in France. Strada della Asieta in Italy. Siena per Centro, the split parkour and split sort of CP in Tuscany in Italy. Then the ferry, which is going to annoy some people, no doubt, across to Albania, to Duers most likely, and then on to Burrell. And then the final slog across to Consta. So yeah, I think it's a great route, and I look forward to seeing more details when they come out. I'll do another video when they do. So yeah, subscribe to the channel, and I've got some more stuff, exciting stuff happening 2025 around the race coverage and things like that. So keep an eye out for that. Thanks again for watching, and I shall catch you in the next one.